Welcome back to Hippie Bliss Travel. Today, we're going to be out exploring the Florence, Oregon area. It's our first full day. And how this day started is, well, we wanted to do a couple things while we were in Florence. One, we were going to hike the sand dunes, and we do that on our second day. And we wanted to do a dune buggy ride. First, we were looking in at renting a dune buggy, and but we've never actually driven a dune buggy on the sand. So then we thought, well, maybe for our first time, we'll do one of those group ones. And just a mile or so down the road, they had a place where you could sign up and go out on it was like 20, 25 of us in one of those big dune buggies, and they went out on the dunes right there. And Florence is known for a lot of wonderful Oregon sand dunes. So we got looking online at the hotel the night before about a couple places, and since this was over the Labor Day weekend, we got looking, and the one we really wanted to do said today or Labor Day on Monday, the Labor Day was going to be their last day of the season, and then they were going to close. So Monday morning, because we got in Monday morning, we said, okay, we're going to be there right at 10 when they open up, and we're going to see if we can do a dune buggy ride. So we got down there. I think they opened just after 10, and we walked in and we said, hey, do you have any rides left? Can we get in on a dune buggy ride today? And they had an opening, I think it was like the 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. It was an afternoon one. So we signed ourselves up, we paid our money, and we got a couple hours. So we headed down south a little bit of a drive to the Umpqua River Lighthouse. The first lighthouse they built here was built in 1857, but it collapsed in 1863 due to flooding and erosion. So the second lighthouse that's still here and in use today was built in 1894. This was also the first lighthouse in the Oregon
When
Territory.
or what they cost, but they do daily lighthouse tours.
Yeah, I don't know what all those boats are out there for, but
You know what I'm more interested in now suddenly?
huh.
Look, so the two jetties, look at the south jetty, just to the south of it. Look at the water that's in that little contained cove.
Huh.
Is it piers, or do you think they're like buoys for crab traps or something like that?
I don't know. So we had to go check out where the jetties are, that little triangle area that had some water. Wanted to go see what it was. Weren't 100% if we were heading down the right road, but knowing us, let's go see where this road goes attitude is. We took a chance. They did have some campgrounds there. You see the trucks carrying the RVs. There, several camping areas down along here. And then we just kept driving and we thought, oh, hopefully we run into it. And we did. And this is the parking lot into the South Jetty parking lot. And the walk from the parking lot was not far off. It was, maybe a quarter mile. Took just 5 minutes or so. And here we are heading on to the beach. It is a little walk from the beach entrance down to the actual water.
Yeah, the breeze, maybe not.
It's warmer than I thought it would be, even with the breeze.
Sure. I'm actually hoping it's a little bit cooler tomorrow when we are hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's venture. I mean, we go down a little closer to the water, but I want to venture over towards the jetty so I can get up.
Yeah, same here, because people are up there walking.
I want to look down into the triangle.
Don't know what they're growing out there. Or what everybody's fishing for out here.
Yes?
Uh-huh. Mussels? Yeah. over there, they call it the Coast Guard Watchtower. And then behind us was that lighthouse we stopped at before we drove down here. Uh-huh.
Jetty itself, not on this little practice one. There's people on that south jetty.
Oh.
But I'm watching them move, and I would hazard a guess that is also much like this one,
Not a smooth top where we could easily
not
walk
smoothed
it.
over where it could be walked. It wasn't packed with soil with a essentially a pathway built on top of it.
Yeah.
Kind of wish that they do. It'd be kind of nice if they would do shit like that. I get that they don't because it's cheaper and they don't really need to.
I think.
But I'd hazard a guess that if you get injured out on it, that rescue doesn't necessarily come cheap.
Yeah. After doing a little research, they call this a triangle jetty, and they are farming oysters, and they are here for 2 to 4 years in this water before harvesting. And then we walked over to the other side of the triangle jetty here onto the north jetty. And husband likes to walk out on the jetties, but we realized with the big boulders they weren't very walking conducive. But we were noticing all those boats that were out there, and for some reason we just noticed the time it was noon, and all of a sudden we started noticing these boats started coming in. Yeah, they were coming in quickly, one right after another. And yeah, this is sped up. I did speed the film up here at this moment. But it was like one, two, and then we got another couple more coming. We're assuming they're trying, they finished up at noon, they pulled up all their anchor, we're coming in, and we're going to try to sell what they caught to like the local restaurants, is what I'm assuming is going on. But I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we just stood there for a little bit and just watched the boats come in, one right after another. Also, we don't know what the catch was either. If it was fish, if it's crab. After watching several more boats come in, we started heading back to the car because we were kind of paying attention to the time because we knew we had the dune buggy thing coming on. Yeah, this is the same road we took out to the jetty. We're kind of coming back at just following where it goes, basically following the river on in. Yeah, we're just kind of following, seeing where it goes. At this point, we'd passed where we had turned when we came from the lighthouse. And as we started coming around the corners here, we started noticing more boats. There's a marina up here. So now we're figuring, okay, all those boats zipping in, we're coming to this marina. I don't know if they're like selling their catch here or if they're taking them somewhere else or if they're just keeping them for themselves. I don't know if they're selling these to the restaurants at all. But it was just weird that at noon it was like, okay, everybody stops, picked up anchor, and started coming in. So we figured that's why they're selling to the restaurants and stuff. But yeah, the marina's off to the left here. Yeah, at this point in time, we're just kind of making our way back to Highway 101 so we can head back toward Florence for our dune buggy ride. And then we stopped at a little town. We stopped at 7-Eleven and got some lunch. I think we got some pizza slices and something to drink and chips or something, a very nutritious lunch. Yeah, so I was going to add the dune buggy footage onto this video, but then I realized the dune buggy the ride was like an hour long or close to an hour. And I got some really good, decent footage, a lot of it. So I was just going to make that its own video because otherwise this would have been closer to like an hour long video. So after the dune buggy ride, we went back to the hotel, kind of changed our clothes, and then went down to for dinner. We went back down to Old Town, and we've been to this restaurant before, and we love it. Yeah, the Waterfront Depot Restaurant is fantastic. This is the second time we've been there. They highly recommend that you make reservations because it's, maybe you got 12 tables. If there's one, two of you, they save the bar area kind of for walk-ins. If there's going to be three or more in your party, make a reservation. The food is fabulous. Even the bar, they had one of the special drinks. They were talking about a new old fashioned where they take the bourbon and they a pound of butter and it's like a butter washed bourbon with their drinks. Oh, the food is fantastic. Highly recommend it. A little expensive. It's your splurge on your vacation there. Thank you for watching this episode of Hippie Bliss Travel. If you made it to the end, give us a like and a subscribe, and hope you join us next week when we're off on our dune buggy trip on the coast. Hope to see you then. Bye.